let me just say this, right? Because I know everybody on social media is fucking rich. Everybody on social media got their shit together. Cut that shit out.
Why on earth is my utility bill so expensive?
So we have solar on our home and our bill was still $700. Solar doesn't eliminate responsibility. Maintenance matters. When you use electricity matters, and understanding how your system actually works matters as well.
Have the Duke Energy mob with my hands behind my back saying, give us an extra $200 a month, or we're going to make your energy go away and you're going to lose all the food in your fridge and you're going to lose access to Wi-Fi and humanity. Like, there's nothing I can do other than hold the money from them as long as possible.
You know how many servers it takes to run Bitcoin and all this cryptocurrency? That's why your utility bill is $200 higher than it was last year.
You owe us for gouging. I want a goddamn check in the mail. I don't want an apology. I don't want the government to get a fine from the utility company. I want fucking recompense for what you've stolen from me, you unscrupulous fuckface!
I know one thing. These utility bills are getting way too comfortable taking my money. The paycheck hits the account, and the bills are already standing at the front door. Damn. You even call or nothing. Say you was coming. Can we catch a break? Golly, check this out.
Why on earth is my utility bill so expensive? If you're like me, your utility bill has been absolutely atrocious. As it turns out, one of the main drivers of these steep prices is as a result of skyrocketing natural gas costs. According to an article by EIA, we saw a 56% increase from 2024 to 2025 in the national average price of natural gas. Additionally, pricing was extremely volatile, ranging on a daily basis from $2.65 per unit to $9.86 per unit, a staggering variation of more than $7 per unit. Prices are expected to rise an additional 13% into 2026. These staggering price increases and price volatility are nerve-wracking and already wreaking havoc on utility customers across the nation. It highlights how strong our need is for a clean energy transition. Transitioning away from fossil fuel reliance is necessary not only for our pockets, but also for public health and for our well-being and the greater good of generations to come. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a follow for more updates, and we'll see you in the next one.
So we have solar on our home and our bill was still $700. So here's what happened. We moved into our house July 2024. The house has 40 solar panels. So like a lot of people, we assumed that meant that we would have no electricity bill, or if we did, it would be extremely low. It's myself, my husband, 4 of our children, and his parents. So 8 people total living in a 3,400 square foot home. And because we didn't think we were going to have an electric bill, we just enjoyed our summer. It was like 105 to 110 degrees outside. We ran the air conditioning whenever we wanted. We used the pool. We turned on the jacuzzi. We did laundry whenever we needed. And then our September electric bill came, and it was over $700. And that's exactly why this video about solar maintenance, care, and understanding how solar actually works is so important to me, because this is information many solar companies do not clearly disclose to homeowners. That bill sent me down a rabbit hole of learning how solar actually works. And the first thing I learned was that even with solar, we are still subject to on-peak and off-peak electricity rates. This means we are being charged more for running appliances between 2 and 9 p.m. on the weekends and 4 and 9 p.m. on the weekdays. We started to make changes. We rescheduled our pool pump to only run during off-peak hours, and we let everyone know that they could only do laundry during off-peak hours, and we limited how often we turned on the air conditioning and when we turned it on. We were very mindful of what electricity we were using and when we were using it. And those changes definitely helped. The following month, our bill dropped to around $400. That was still way too much, considering we had 40 panels on the roof. I discovered something else really surprising. Solar panels actually need to be cleaned regularly. And you can't just hose them down with the garden hose, because that can leave mineral or chlorine deposits, which can actually reduce efficiency. The panels have to be professionally cleaned. I spoke to the previous owner and found out she had never gotten the panels cleaned. I hired a professional company, spent about $300 to have the panels properly cleaned, and once that was done, we noticed a huge difference in our bill. Now, this was in October. It's a totally different time of year. It's not summertime. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So instead, I have been tracking our electric bill month by month, comparing 2024 to 2025 to see if there's a real difference. And there is. This experience taught me something really important. Solar doesn't eliminate responsibility. Maintenance matters. When you use electricity matters, and understanding how your system actually works matters as well.
A couple weeks ago, I checked in with you guys just to see what was going on in your communities, and I started receiving messages like this, and this, and this, and this, telling me that your water bills have increased, in most cases doubling or tripling in the past weeks or months. So I got with our web team and saw if we could do a call out on social media to see if this is a widespread issue across our city. And we received over 200 responses. People saying that they were having the same issue, not just here in the city, but also in Harris County. So I decided to look into this and see what I could find. I started with the city, reaching out to the city of Houston, them telling me that they have to investigate every single case because every single account may be different. Maybe you have an outstanding balance. Maybe you have a leak. Maybe you have a toilet that continuously runs, or it could be a billing issue, but they have to look into each account to see. So this is where I need your help. If you have an increased water bill, you can send it to our Two Helps You help desk. I'll be taking these bills to the city of Houston to see how Two can help you. And for more background on the increase that was expected for 5 years, not just the past few weeks or months, view my full report on our website.
I just wanted to give the North Carolinians an update on the Duke Energy stealing from us situation. I don't have a ton to report other than that my bill is still sky high, even for the next month, that it's been warmer. I haven't paid my bill. I hope you're not paying your bill. I hope that you are making them at least feel any kind of squeeze for this. I am now at the point where they are threatening to turn off my power. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to go without power. And for all of you who are in the comments of my original video saying, you need to just install solar, I live in an apartment and can't afford my energy bill. I don't know how you expect me to install solar as a solution. That's not a real solution. And in fact, it's one coming from a position of privilege. Being able to find other options is a privilege because right now I have the Duke Energy mob with my hands behind my back saying, give us an extra $200 a month or we're going to make your energy go away and you're going to lose all the food in your fridge and you're going to lose access to Wi-Fi and humanity. Like, there's nothing I can do other than hold the money from them as long as possible and hope that other people are doing it too, because they're actually like shaking us down and it's kind of crazy. So I'm gonna eventually have to pay the minimum amount to keep my lights on and keep the food in my fridge because unfortunately I have no other option. But then I'm going to continue to hold money from them until they threaten to turn it off again because I have to push back against them in some way on a personal level. I refuse to let this injustice go without any repercussion, even if it's just me and I'm the only one not paying Duke Energy on time. But I sincerely hope there are other people who are also making them feel the squeeze in this way. I personally think it's the only way we're going to actually see any change.
So if you want to get one of these digital meters off the side of your house because they double your electric bill, here's how you do it. This is like a 1940s house. I'll get the exact for you, but this is a newer breaker box. It's not the original. It had fuses. So what they did was they wired the original 2-wire wiring harness, which is that cloth wrapped wire right there, into newer wire, which is this copper wire that you see right here. Okay, that's what they did. And they updated the box. They came along, the electric company, and put this digital meter on here which this box is not rated for, which is a fire hazard, which is why everybody's having so many problems. So if you want to get your box off the side of your house, those digital boxes that have doubled your electric bill because your house is just simply not equipped, it's not wired for it. It's just not designed for it. Tell them that your house, the old wiring harness is wired into the new electrical panel and it needs to be inspected. You can hear it. Listen, I keep hearing it. You can actually hear it. So sure that you get a inspection on your home and make sure that your home's wiring system is equipped with wires that will handle LTE or 5G or whatever they're using for data transfer. If not, you can get a fire. End of story. That's just the way it is. There it is right there. There's the proof. Ta-da! Danger, danger. You know how many servers it takes to run Bitcoin and all this cryptocurrency? That's why your utility bill is $200 higher than it was last year. Told you. And your utility bill is just going to keep going up and up and up and up. If you haven't been around people with hundreds of millions of dollars, you don't understand how they think. You can't even comprehend the plans that they have for you.
Duke Energy, you need to count your days. Because why is the light bill going from $200 to $1,000? What is going on? Anybody else in North Carolina where that light bill has gone up to $1,000 or even more? Like, what are we doing? This weather is changing. We got to keep the heat on. Then it gets cold. Then it snows. Then it rains. Then it want to be sunny again. Like, am I the only one? I know I'm not the only one because actually before my grandma passed away, her bill actually with Duke Energy was like 3 something, maybe 2 something, and went up to $1,000. And I'm like, what in the world we got plugged in? We got to start unplugging everything before we leave the house. Unplug the TV, unplug the refrigerator, unplug the deep freezers, unplug the microwave, stop turning the lights on during the daytime. Just use the lights, put the blinds up. I don't know, but Duke Energy.
Hey, what's up, America? I'm super pissed off about fucking utility bills here in the state of Indiana and all over the country, but let me tell you this fucking bullshit. So first of all, I want to go over how much money I've spent in the last 3 months on my fucking electric bill. 3 months ago, it was 580, then 608, then 578, more than double than the fucking months before. But now we're finding out with an investigative discovery here at the news that some people were receiving utility bills of $14,000. $14,000 for a utility bill for a single family home. So obviously there's investigation starting with that. But just 6 days ago, the Indiana Regulatory Commission said that they were bringing in the utility companies to investigate them for price gouging and rampant fraud. That's when BlackRock, along with a Swedish private equity firm, bought our fucking utility company. So even though AES, the utility company, was being investigated for price gouging, I guess nothing will happen to them, and probably the CEO will leave with a golden parachute on the way out, right? Fuck you. Well, I'm going to be very clear when I talk about utility companies or any other thing that's fucking the American people over. You operating normally, then gouging the customers, and then returning back to normal operation is not a good thing. You owe us for gouging. I want a goddamn check in the mail. I don't want an apology. I don't want the government to get a fine from the utility company. I want fucking recompense for what you've stolen from me, you unscrupulous fuckface! So this happens like this over and over and over again, where a company will operate, then someone will make a decision to fuck as many people over for profit as possible, then they get in trouble with the government, have to pay the government a fine, and then they just get to go about their merry way. I don't want these companies to go about their merry way and pay a fine to the government. You should be paying a fine to me for ripping me off, you fucking douchebag!
Hey, yo, so this how fucked up this capitalistic country of ours has got our people thinking. Let me talk to y'all real quick. So first of all, let me just say this, right? Because I know everybody on social media is fucking rich. Everybody on social media got their shit together. Cut that shit out. Let's cut that shit out right now. And we going get to the meat and potatoes right now. You understand what I'm saying? So first things first, because I see this debate going on Twitter, right? Let's address this. $1,500 for rent is way too fucking high. Let's just be real. Let's just cut to the chase. I don't give a fuck where you live. I don't care if you live in California. I don't care if you live in New York. I don't care if you live in Texas. I don't care if you live in Massachusetts. $1,500 for rent is way too much fucking money. Now, mind you, that is relatively cheap compared to a lot of other prices, obviously. That is why people with fucked up mentalities are saying, well, $1,500, that's cheap. No, it's not. No, the fuck it's not. It's really not. Because the average person cannot make enough to pay that kind of rent. But it ain't even just so much of that. If you have to pay $1,500 a month, your landlord or your leasing agent, whatever it is, they're going to expect you to make 3 times that every month. So basically, you have to make $4,500 a month at least to be qualified for an apartment that costs $1,500 a month. You understand what I'm saying? It is way too much. And we just talking about sometimes a fucking studio. A studio costs that much in some places. Shit, in New York City, they got fucking studios for $2,500 or better. So like I said, it's all relative. But let's be real. That's too much money. Now, why am I bringing this up, right? Why am I bringing this up? Because I see people on the internet, these fucking naysayers, these fake motherfuckers out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, see, here's the thing. When people finally get in a position where they're finally doing well for themselves, their reality becomes unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, they have lost touch with reality. All of a sudden, they can't seem to relate with the rest of the world, right? Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? I make good money too, but I'm not unrealistic. So here's the bottom line, right? People who are suggesting, oh man, well maybe you should just get a better job. Oh, well maybe you should just do more hours at work. Maybe you should, do a side hustle and blah, blah, blah. All those people that are suggesting that, right? None of that is going to work. None of that is going to work. Because here's the catch. Every time you find yourself figuring it out, they always find a way to fuck you for it. Every single time you find yourself figuring it out, they always find a way to screw you for it. So let's go back to COVID, right? Because COVID is really the root of this whole entire ordeal that we're experiencing right now. It's not to say that the cost of living wasn't already going up before that, but it has risen extremely high since COVID, right? Now, when COVID happened, there was hundreds of thousands, even millions of people that were unemployed, right? Now, during this time period, we've had hundreds of thousands and even millions of Black entrepreneurs being bred, Black entrepreneurs being established during that time because they were in the house all day and they had no choice but to be creative. People were, designing T-shirts. People were designing masks. People were just, making their own hand sanitizer. You had women becoming lash techs and weaveologists. They becoming nail techs, doing all of the above. You understand what I'm saying? Becoming entrepreneurs. And then, then they giving out PPP loans and all this other shit. What did they do? They screwed them. They screwed all of those people for figuring out how to fucking survive on the system, or figuring out how to fuck the system has been fucking us already for our entire lives. So stop trying to say that, oh, you should do this and you should do that, because every time you figure out a way, they just figure out a way to pull you right back down. Every time you go up, they're going to pull you right back down. You understand what I'm saying? So the problem isn't about making more money. The problem is they have to stop raising shit. Whether it's gas, whether it's groceries, whether it's rent, whatever the fuck it is, you can only work but so much. You're not a robot. Stop with that mentality. Stop suggesting that people should work more or work harder. Because here's the reality. Let me tell you what my reality is, right? When I tell y'all all the time why I want to become a content creator, do y'all think I give a fuck about y'all? Respectfully, no disrespect, I don't. And I know y'all don't give a fuck about me. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all probably just want to be in my business. And that's cool. But I'd rather get paid for that shit. I'd rather get paid for that. I want to be able to get up and go whenever I want. I want to be able to get up and travel whenever the fuck I want. I don't want to be getting up and punching in nobody's clock and trying to figure out how I'm going to survive. That's not the side of the world that I want to be on. You understand what I'm saying? Let's just call it what it is.
Look, hardworking people are doing their best, but these bills keep moving the finish line. Cheaters. If you're feeling the squeeze too, I want to hear about it in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notification bell for more videos coming soon. Happy every day.